Every year, 18 million Americans are affected by some kind of anxiety disorder, and 6 million of those are affected by panic disorders specifically. Panic attacks come seemingly out of the blue. You're minding your own business, and then you feel like your world is ending, and they can last for hours. For me, they started completely at random and altered the way I live my life, my thoughts, my behaviors. Everything became caught up in how to prevent these or stop them once they begin. After my initial panic attack, I was very motivated to make sure it never happened again, and sought out tools to overcome them. I want to tell you the story of my experience with panic disorder, and how I overcame it. This video is pretty personal and I didn't really want to make it, but I was looking everywhere for solutions during this time and I couldn't find anything. So I hope this can help someone struggling. So by the end of this video, you should be armed with some tools that can help you if you struggle with this disorder. My first panic attack happened when I was getting ready for lunch one day. I looked in the mirror and just had a thought like, you'll be dead soon. Remember that. Prepare for that. I thought, that's a strange thing to think, but okay. But from there my heart started pumping really fast, like I was hyperventilating. I felt my throat closing up. The world felt like it was closing in around me. What is this? What's happening? I spoke with my roommates about it and we tried to Google how to fix it. As we sat for lunch, it just kept getting worse and I was contemplating going to the doctor to get some Xanax or something, anything to stop it. Once I returned home, it only got worse. Panic was intense. Even though from an outside perspective, I probably just looked like I was chilling. On the inside, there were alarm bells going off, non-stop. I kept building and building until I felt a voice screaming out that we needed help immediately or something bad would happen. So I asked my roommate for words of encouragement and he put on a guided meditation for us to listen to. Once that was over, I put on my own guided meditations, curled up in a blanket, and fell asleep. When I woke up, the attack had passed. I was exhausted, but at least I didn't feel like I was dying anymore. But the attacks continued to happen. Sometimes it would take the form of extreme paranoia, where I couldn't get my hair cut because I thought someone was coming in to kidnap me or my roommates. Other times, we'd be talking about mental illness, and that would trigger me. I tried to think about the causes and how to fix it. I was robbed when I lived in Budapest a few months ago. Could I have developed PTSD from that? The thing is, once your brain convinces you something's wrong, you can spiral out of control really easily and think up new things that are wrong with you. The final straw was when an attack put me in the hospital. I was at my desk working and I just felt my heart beat irregularly for a few seconds. I thought, that's weird. But that thought was the beginning of the end. It happened again, that weird, irregular heartbeat. What's going on? Then my heart started pumping really fast, out of control. I was in full-blown panic mode. But this time, I thought I was having a heart attack. My family has a history of heart issues, so it makes sense that I would as well, even if it is a little early. I went home and laid in the grass in my yard. I put on some anxiety meditations to try to get grounded. I tried to pay attention to my breathing and the sensations in my body, but I heard that voice again. Something is seriously wrong and you need help. I walked over to the hospital and tried to explain what was happening. While I was waiting to see a doctor, my thoughts were that this is the end. If I'm gonna die, is there anything I wished I would have done? Nothing comes up. The doctor hooks me up to an EKG to test my heart. The results come back and there's literally nothing wrong with me. My body is in top shape. The doctor tells me it's a panic disorder. He prescribes me some drugs and tells me to see a therapist. So I do, and it helps to change everything. I went to a cognitive behavioral therapist who explained that anxiety happens when people think three things: that you're going crazy, that you're dying, or that you're losing control. He compared it to if we were sitting in the room and a tiger came in. My heart would be pumping, I'd be in fight or flight mode, and there would be a lot of panicking happening, but I can see the threat and I know the cause. And if beside me I had a machine gun, I'd still be panicking, but I'd feel a lot more in control because I have a solution to the problem. When a panic attack happens, our body's putting out signals that something's wrong. But you look around your environment and you can't see a threat, so the threat must be internal. You could be dying or going crazy. The goal of the therapy is just to give you as many machine guns as possible to properly deal with what's happening internally, to be able to recognize and handle the threat by having the proper mindset towards it. Since I started at CBT, I've been able to overcome any panic attacks before they turn into a full-blown issue. I'd like to share with you the tools I use to overcome and stop them. Distract yourself. The first thing to do is distract yourself. A panic attack is one of the only problems in your life that will go away if you don't think about it, so cherish that. It's natural to want to let the panic attack run its course so it gets out of your system. Even though that seems like the right answer, that's probably the worst possible solution to this. So distract yourself. Count down from 100 in multiples of 3. Do math problems in your head. I use a website that tests me on how to conjugate different Spanish verbs. Anything you can do to not allow your mind to get onto the something is wrong track is beneficial. Ignoring the problem and changing the track your mind is on is a healthy way to make your body forget that it's having a panic attack. Give up stimulants. All of the literature I've read says that caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol play big roles in anxiety attacks. You need to cut these out. Unfortunately, I had to give up on one true love, coffee, because of this. But giving up that is a lot better than having my body being in constant high alert. Meditate. Having a daily meditation practice will be helpful for more than just your anxiety. But if you don't pick that up as a habit and you instead just need something for when you're in the middle of a panic attack, put on a guided meditation. I use Insight Timer, which is a free app that has helped me out a lot in times of trouble, and I can't recommend it enough. I'd like to take this time to say thank you to Insight Timer because they've probably saved my life at this point. Face your mortality. It's a lot easier to cope with the fact that you may be dying if you treat that entire process as a joke. Like it's okay. I had to sit down and really think about the fact that one day I'm going to die, and that day could be today, and I have to be cool with that. The Stoics talk a lot about this. In order to make life less stressful, think about your death and the limited time you have on this earth. Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. Memento mori. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy is one of the most scientifically proven forms of therapy there is. It helps with all types of things and was the final piece for dealing with my anxiety. It simply helps you figure out what are your triggers and rewire your thoughts so that they are helpful for you instead of spiraling you into a panic attack. If a man calls his girlfriend and she doesn't pick up the phone, he could think she's cheating. He may stop whatever he's doing to go confront her, but he jumps to this conclusion without any proper evidence. She could be showering. She could be with her family. And we all have similar thought processes that don't necessarily make sense in reality, but that we latch onto. This person didn't message me back. They must be angry. My heart pumped irregularly. I must be having a heart attack. We're looking to find these thought processes that don't make sense and address them for what they are. Now I want to touch on this. When I had my first attacks, I knew there was no way I was going to live my life like this, and that I would do whatever it takes to overcome it. If you need to hang up a picture in your house but don't have the supplies, there's no shame in going to the store to get a hammer and nail. If you need to overcome anxiety attacks but you don't have the tools, there's absolutely nothing wrong with going to see a professional who has seen this before and can help you. You don't need to be ashamed of it, and you're saving so much of your valuable time by not trying to fix this yourself. I was able to overcome these within a month of the first one because I took the time to go and get the proper help. Now I have a lot of great tools and mindsets that are carrying over into other aspects of my life and business. My therapist even told me that I'm cured and I don't need to go to CBT anymore, but I told him we're going to kind of continue with it because there's a lot of different benefits that cognitive behavioral therapy has on different aspects of my life and my business and everything like that. So I would highly recommend CBT if you're dealing with this. I personally didn't think it was an issue to go see a therapist, but I've heard this is something that stops a lot of people. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You're simply equipping yourself with the right tools to overcome the challenge ahead of you. It takes immense strength to overcome the challenge you're facing. And doing it alone is a lot harder than having a professional who you can rely on. So this is the story of how I developed panic attacks and overcame them without drugs. I hope this is helpful for you, and let us know in the comments some of the ways you deal with your panic attacks so you can help others.